Kirk the House Geek here with Mastermind, the market, your real estate stats update for the Twin Cities area. Well, the stars are starting to align for sellers to see a great early spring market. What do I mean by that? Well, we'll dive into the data in just a second. But make sure you hit that like button and subscribe button if you haven't already. All right, let's dive into the data and take a look at what's going on. All right, showings per week per listing, median sale price range ends up jumping up week over week. So that's the first positive sign here, seeing that showing rate picking back up a little bit. Now, I would expect that to potentially, I'd say more than likely, fall off over the Thanksgiving week here, but keep an eye on that as we enter into early December. So 2.81 up to a 2.83. This is in comparison to last year's 2.54. So we're tracking ahead of last year by 10%. Showings as well, 1905 in comparison to last year's 1725 for areas used. So that's up by 9%. Couple other data points here. First, we're going to look at the days on market jumping up a bit, 28.8 up to 34.4. This is putting our market meter now at a running 2 weeks in a row, 3.12. So the question becomes, have we found our bottom for the marketplace? Because this is one of those times of years where we typically see that. We go back 2 years, the bottom was actually in September at the slowest pace, but last year it was November. Okay, looking at some other data points here. More stars aligning. Interest rates. So we're looking at the bond market, a key indicator for interest rates and where they're going. Well, again, they're going down today, 10-year Treasury yield. And we have seen some pretty good movement over the last about 25-ish days on the bond market. So this is helping interest rates. We can see pretty decent drop overall. Here in Minnesota, we have seen rates come down by almost 0.75% over their peak a little over a month ago. This is causing mortgage application rates to go on the rise a few weeks running now, up 2.5% over last year, up 2.8% over last year. Again, more stars aligning for sellers. And another big one is the inventory is finally starting to make some movement downwards. Again, key reason why we're seeing that showings per listing ticking back up. This one was a bit of an early surprise for me, which is showings to pending is now on the rise. Now, people may go, well, that sounds like a bad thing. Showings to pending, it's taking more showings for a house to sell. Well, no, what's happening is because of the condensed inventory that the buyers have more limited options. So there's just more showings taking place, which then leads to a higher likelihood of a multiple offer situation. So kind of looking at this at a macro scale, we can see that, yes, the market meter has been moving down, but usually in this latter part of the year, we start to see that market tick back up, especially looking at the last 2 years. So we're at that 3.12 again for a couple weeks running. Last year, we saw the market meter end November 3.74, jumping up to a 4.41 before really accelerating into January and going up to 7.03. Now, if we see some inventory, we might see like a happy median between these two. So this is kind of, in my opinion, extreme. I don't think this is going to happen this year. But we went from a 6.97 in December, jumping up to a 12.45, and this is beginning of 2022. Keep in mind, interest rates at that time were still down in the threes. I do expect, though, a more limited inventory this year, and the predictions are that interest rates are going to continue to go down. Currently, we're sitting at about 7.625. That's a par rate, no buy down points in there. But the forecasts are for those rates to continue to go down. You combine that with what's happening with inventory, and that's those stars aligning out there for sellers. So as I've mentioned in the past, for buyers, you got this window of opportunity. It is closing. I think you got about a 60-day window at best, and it's going to start to get pretty competitive out there. For sellers, though, if you can wait about that 60 days, especially if you're on the market right now. Being patient is going to be key because you can see that velocity picking up out there is going to help the situation. So again, as always, hope you found this information helpful. If you liked the video, click the like button and subscribe. We'll see y'all in a few weeks. Have a great Thanksgiving.